And ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for your main event. In this corner, from parts unknown, coming in at a combined weight of 532 pounds, the J. Brown Express. And in this corner, utilizing the Freebird rules, your tag team champions of the world, at a combined weight of 832 pounds, the Brothers in Kayfabe.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Brothers in Kayfabe podcast. I am one of your aforementioned brothers in Kayfabe, Jake Keel. And, although we're being brothers as a work, we are basically shoot brothers at this point, and we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. To my right, that is Triple J, Jimmy Jackson. What's going on, Triple J?
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Just sitting here in this beautiful fall weather in the middle of May. Enjoying the time at home and the sights and sounds of Money in the Bank season, which we all participated in watching. But yeah, just having a good week, and I got a little excited. I've alluded to it, you both, about it, but I have something kind of interesting and exciting to bring up later. So,
dude, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear what you got to talk about. But a little bit more work to be done before we get there. Should I say, and new Brothers in Kayfabe Pick'em champion to my left.
Yeah.
Mr. Wrestling Landon Bumgarner. What's up, Landon?
Bow down to the king.
There he is.
Hey guys, I am
Such a good Livy. Are you kidding me?
That was so good.
well, shout out to Than Bedlam at ACM at UCO for teaching me how to squeal and destroy my throat like Lemmy. If you do want to preserve your voice, don't ever do that. Guys, I'm so excited to be with you. Dude, do we just jump? Should we jump just straight into Money in the Bank?
I don't see why not.
We've got a lot to talk
Can we-
about, so
can
why
we-
don't we just jump into it?
Can we talk about the matches before Money in the Bank matches? Because I feel like once we hit that Money in the Bank match, it's game over.
I think
And
we
there's
right.
there's a few things I'd like to say about the other matches. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. Not the
Yeah.
way I thought it would be done, but you know what? I'm not terribly mad about it.
it was better than I thought it was going to be because I thought and what I loved is it was Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman and not the Fiend.
What a good way
Yes.
to preserve the Fiend.
And just the little things where it's hey, instead of this just being, because going into it, we're it's just a quick one-off match, just to
Right.
Yeah.
fill in the gap because Roman's gone. But now it's hold on, now I kind of want to see where this is going to go.
Well, I watched part of it today, and I got to that match. I saw a little bit of McIntyre and Rollins, but dude, it was a great way to keep that feud going, and because you know that they're gonna come back with more Strowman and Wyatt at this point.
Well, it's got to
I
be.
mean,
the
there's
Fiend.
not really-
It's got to be the Fiend and Strowman at some point.
Right. Well, now Wyatt can go, well, you haven't faced me at my full.
Yeah.
You haven't let him in, and to beat you, I'm gonna let him in.
Yeah.
And it kind of writes itself at that point.
It was really good. I thought that the whole them hugging was really funny.
Oh yeah.
But it worked. It was funny, but it worked. I'll also say that, I love how they're weaving in the Wyatt family mythology into his current character. It's not like a reset.
Right.
There's actually some,
There's continuity there.
there's continuity there. Which I think is really good.
Going
Yeah.
back to them hugging, what a great just like mini swerve of like, oh, like, hey, what if Braun really is rejoining the Wyatt family?
Right.
And like we haven't like rest in peace, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. But it's like
Yeah.
we haven't seen the Fiend form a stable. Like we have like what would a new Wyatt family under the Fiend's control look like?
Like, did you notice that everything they played in the Wyatt family, there wasn't any Rowan or Harper at all? Especially
Yeah.
Harper.
I wonder why. It's almost like he's like a big star in another company or something.
Well,
It's almost like he's fighting for a title in another company, too.
in modern canon, the Wyatt family has only ever consisted of Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman.
Well,
Because literally everyone else. Well, Daniel Bryan, didn't he?
Oh, that's
join
true.
For a second.
as Vince McMahon would say, who remembers that crap? Nobody
Honestly.
remembers that.
Honestly. Okay, I'm just gonna run down the card here real quick.
Do it.
You have Jeff Hardy and Cesaro. Thought it was a great match. I'm a
Great
sucker
match.
for Jeff Hardy. You have the if you guys want to like chime in, please feel free. You had
Totally.
Well-
the fatal 4-way. What were you gonna say, Landon?
No, I was just gonna say like totally. We'll jump
Okay,
in.
cool, yeah.
I was going to say Cesaro, I don't think he can have a bad match. I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad match.
He's such a good.
So if
wrestler.
you need someone to look strong and be convincing in doing so, like Jeff Hardy's great, but like
yeah.
Cesaro's the right guy to put him with, to where he's like, Cesaro will make him look like a star, even though we already know he's a star.
Totally. It was funny. It was fun to see Hardy back. It's just like you get kind of like hyped for that. You're like you just kind of want to see that swanton bomb. That's like
yeah.
what you want to see, and then you get one and you're happy. That was the pre-show
Yeah, and then
match.
the goosebumps come back.
Exactly. Then you have the Fatal 4-Way, which was the New Day, Forgotten Sons, Miz and Morrison, and Lucha House Party.
It was.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like there are aspects of the match I enjoyed. Like I thought all the guys had great chemistry. I'm just me personally. Like I felt the match went on way too long,
yeah.
and it was like, like, hey, there's about a 98% chance that the New Day is going to win.
Right.
Had they
Well-
put the Usos in, then it probably would have been the
Yeah.
Usos. But it's like,
Well, they couldn't because that was the original match was going to be New Day, Miz Morrison, and Usos, but Jimmy Uso's out with a injury now.
Yeah, out till 2021.
Yeah,
the story of the SmackDown Tag Team division
is just one of
is-
injury.
is just Usos and New Day.
Well,
Yeah,
my problem with that match is it was a good match. Everybody worked their butts off in that match, but you're blowing everything right there in one match. Like, you had every tag team in the division over there in that
Well-
match. So, like, what are you going to do now?
Landon, you said that it you felt like it went on forever. What if I told you that match was a minute and a half shorter than the Jeff Hardy Cesaro match? That kind of right there tells you what you need to know about
Mhm.
how good it was. After that, you had the swerve of MVP and R-Truth actually being Bobby Lashley and R-Truth.
Yeah.
And can I just say, I'm not a Bobby Lashley fan at all, really. Don't care. But
Well,
R-Truth,
it's like-
R-Truth is so good.
He's...
Like that entire segment was worth watching because of R-Truth.
Yes.
He might give Otis a run for his money as the most over
Dude.
person for me in the company.
Okay, when he was like, when he's like, I'm taking the night off, and Bobby Lashley came out, and R-Truth's like, well, I'm taking the night off too, man. And like goes to leave, and he's like, listen, man, blah, blah, blah. And he's like moving his hand, and then he slaps Lashley
Yes.
as he's pointing the other way. I literally had to stop it and rewind it and say, Kaylee, watch this. Watch this again, Kaylee, because this is so good. Like, you
and
you blink
it's
and
so
you miss it.
subtle too.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
but I loved how he was like, "What? I can't get a night off?
yeah. he's
Yeah.
like, come on.
What
man."
about me? What about our truth?"
I like how
It's-
he
He's so good.
he's like reached that age, and people say it's like being a master of 10 years of your craft, to where it's just like you can like you're so good at everything you do, to
Yeah.
where it's like literally like my favorite thing is like R-Truth's like little like improv raps that he does to the ring, to where he's
Dude,
It's
like
amazing.
it's just so good
It's
and it's so
amazing.
entertaining.
how good was it against no crowd whenever he was doing the "What's up?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah, that's what I like to hear."
And what I can't remember,
it
I want to
works-
say
It works perfectly for his character too.
I think it was Tom Phillips who was like, "Well, R-Truth is quite the imagination. I bet he sure hears a lot of voices in his head."
We
Just-
do got to pause here with truth because I saw a fact and it made me so mad for his character today.
Okay.
Did y'all know, not counting the 24/7 title, he has not won a pay-per-view match since 2013?
That doesn't surprise me,
That's
unfortunately.
That's depressing.
And that was when he was a heel.
Right. I will say, if you guys haven't watched the R-Truth WWE 24 on the
So
network,
good.
I haven't seen that. I need
It's-
to go watch that.
it's
It's so
incredible.
good.
It'll make you
I'm
love
right-
R-Truth even more.
I'm watching.
He goes to his hometown,
I'm gonna
like
watch it.
finds his youth like home, like he's so good.
I'll say this while we're on the subject of R-Truth. Watching Raw last night, watching R-Truth get put in the Master Lock / a full Nelson, and he has the freaking hillbilly fake teeth, like put in like the cheap, like a dollar store,
Yeah.
like fake gums with like 3 teeth, like put in. It's just like you just get the camera shot of him like opening his mouth to scream it, and at first it's like is he wearing a grill? And you look closer, it's like those are like the cheap like fake hillbilly teeth you get at the Dollar Tree.
Oh, it's so amazing.
And he's the only dude that could get that over too.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
But-
Okay, so the next match you have was the women's title was Bailey versus Tamina, which I didn't really watch much
yeah,
of.
it was all right.
Yeah, I feel like Bailey's reign. I feel like her being a heel isn't working, and her like championship reign just doesn't really matter.
Well, it's obvious where
That's how
they're
I
going
feel.
with it right now. Like, they're obviously building to Sasha Bailey
Yeah,
at SummerSlam, but like now they have to get there, and they've got a champion that everyone's just kind of like tired to see.
yeah.
I don't know. What were you gonna say, Landon?
I was just gonna say it's one of those things to where, like, it was exciting to see Bailey turn heel at the very beginning because it's like, oh, like she's
never-
literally only been a baby face.
This
Like,
never happened. Yeah,
let's see, and it was like they knew they could ride off of the excitement of such a dramatic change
Yeah,
that they didn't do anything else, and so it was like, whoa, okay, now we just nosedive to the ground to where like the dangerous thing about that is like when Bailey turns face is it's like it's going to be a cheap crappy pop
right.
instead of like a genuine like, oh no, like she's genuinely like on the good side again. It's like, no, like they've just run her into the ground and they just need to
Well-
like buy more time.
Here's a question on that. Could she ever go back to her old way, like her old character, or is that character just ruined at this point? Because like
well, I mean,
I wouldn't believe her as that character.
I mean, Jake, I don't think I need to remind you. She murdered the Bailey buddies. How can I mean? They're dead
It's
Right.
true.
They're dead.
I
I
think
totally forgot about that.
unless
I
they
think-
get resurrected like AJ Styles after a boneyard match. They're never They're never coming back.
I
AJ
could,
No Soul Death, man.
That's because he's simply phenomenal. I could see like a revised version of it, if that makes sense, to where it's not going to be at like it might be she just wears like her arm tassels again and does some of her like weird like high five double slap kind of stuff. I don't think it would ever be to that degree. I don't even think we'd see like the side ponytail return.
I hope not. I always hated the side ponytail.
Well,
I mean,
liked it a heck of a lot better than her hair now.
yeah,
It's true.
that is true. But
She looks
Shout
like
out to all the
Bailey's just got a
Karens.
history.
I was gonna say she looks like Karen out there talking to the manager.
Bailey's just got a history of bad hair, so it's just.
So
Anyway.
yeah. So after the Bailey match, you have the Braun Strowman Bray Wyatt, which we talked about.
It's great.
Then you had the McIntyre Rollins match. I don't know if there's anything we want to say there.
I'm glad Drew won.
Me too.
Did you really think that they were going to go anywhere else with that match? I mean,
If they would have, I would have been upset at WWE, but whatever. Okay, and then you have what we're here to talk about, boys. You had the Money in the Bank matches. Climb the corporate tower, climb the Titan Tower, wrestling
I'm
ring
so excited.
on the roof. And I guess let's go ahead and say Asuka won the Money in the Bank ladder match. Later,
which I was surprised by.
I was too, and which we found out last night that was actually for the title.
For the title.
For the title, not for the contract. And then in what I thought, boys, was the impossible.
Oh my gosh.
What I thought was impossible was made possible. My man, Otis, caterpillared his way to victory. And he
There's nobody better than Otis right now.
no, and he won
In
the
his
briefcase.
character.
He won the briefcase, defeating all odds. He didn't even climb the ladder. He wasn't able to. So this Money in the Bank ladder match. I mean, I have to say we all love it, right?
Oh, dude.
Absolutely.
It was the best.
I loved like just the image of like AJ fumbling the briefcase and Otis just catching it, and it's like ring
It
the
was
bell.
the perfect way for him to win.
Exactly, because like, hey, here's your story for the next couple of weeks. AJ challenging Otis because AJ's the rightful Money in the Bank winner, and hey, that little frick, that little cuss, he only got it because it slipped out of my hand because the Undertaker crushed my hand.
Could we see AJ Styles challenge for the Money in the Bank briefcase?
I really hope so. I want to see AJ attempt.
I mean, here's the thing. It's exactly what happened. What they did with this Money in the Bank ladder match was exactly what I wanted. What we talked about a week or two ago, which was literally AJ was reliving his freaking buried alive Undertaker moment. Like they had the door with, that he opened with freaking the coffin. Like,
oh man,
what was that? What was that?
He has PTSD. He was dead. It's him seeing the other side again.
He wasn't dead. He already confirmed he's not a zombie. He's not a ghost.
That's exactly what a dead person would say.
Exactly. That's what I was getting ready to say. That's exactly what an AJ Styles zombie would want you to think. And then he eats your brains.
I'll tell you what though. I watched this on a delay, so I didn't see it live.
Me too.
But I didn't see any spoilers. All I saw, Jake, was you had texted us and you said, "I'm so excited for you guys to pop during the Money in the Bank match." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I wasn't getting my hopes up. And as soon as Rey Mysterio walked in that bathroom,
man,
Brother Love walked out, I stood up and screamed, "It's Brother Love," and started freaking out. And I was so excited
with the music and everything.
Oh, it was unbelievably cool.
It's exactly what I wanted. Little cameos of Brother Love and John Laurinaitis and Paul Heyman having a whole catering table to himself.
Don't forget Mr. Doink the Clown.
Yeah, some random dude in clown makeup and a $3 wig.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly, I'm right there with you. That's exactly the kind of stuff I wanted to see because you're in, Disneyland's not the most magical place on earth. WWE is. And
Titan.
Yeah.
Titan Towers, yeah.
and it's like, my only critique of the match is I wanted more of that.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have
mean, I go ahead.
I would have been okay with like 5 more minutes if we just got in like 1 or 2 more cameos, you know.
Right.
Like maybe even Teddy Long sitting there somewhere going, "Hey, player, briefcase is over there."
I'm just, exactly. Or he's like, hear me out, Jake. You would appreciate this. If AJ's running through and he bumps into Teddy Long and AJ's like, "What the heck are you doing here? You don't even work here." And he's like, "You better watch your mouth or you're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker."
Right.
Just wait, you
Perfect.
can't do that. And then have AJ discover the room right after that.
I mean, that moment in particular was the best. Which I have to imagine that Mark Calloway himself was in that coffin, right?
He has to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, they flew him in to lay in that coffin with it closed.
Well-
Is that just where he lives? Him and Michelle?
Maybe.
Is that?
Maybe. That's where he has his baking competitions and he
Oh, yeah.
he makes good coffee for everybody and
You talking about the Undertaker?
the Undertaker. Shout out to our other favorite podcast, but
I'll say this. The part whenever the ladies are in the Money in the Bank conference room, that whenever is it Carmella who reaches up and grabs the briefcase? Dana Brooke, whenever she unlatches it, and you can tell she's grabbing it, it's literally just full of money. But in the background of the shot, there's a poster of the $1 Million Man. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna pan out and he's gonna be in the room and take it from him.
I thought that was the weakest cameo because you could tell Stephanie just shot
It was,
at
Oh,
it was
dude.
just filmed in her
house.
hallway.
it was
Yeah.
on her iPhone.
Yeah. The other one that the other thing that I thought was interesting was I don't know if you noticed, and maybe I was reading too much into it, but when I can't remember, one of the guys is running down the hallway, and there's a WrestleMania, I think it was 33 poster of Roman,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
and they stayed on that shot
Just a
for
little long.
a little long. I thought I didn't know if I was reading into that, but
It had to
it
have
was
been on
very much
purpose.
so- it was very much so here it's Roman Reigns, which made me think. I was wondering if Roman was going to swerve people and show up and get the briefcase or something.
Right.
But I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad they didn't do the Brock Lesnar treatment. Can we also say that during this coronavirus time, there's been a lot of hardship and sickness, and I just want to say, rest in peace to Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio. They were very young,
Yeah.
and I'm so sad that they had to in their lives like that, being thrown off the roof. Of
My
Titan
my
Towers
condolences to
onto-
Mrs. Mysterio, and
Yeah, onto a very visible crash pad.
and
Now,
no, they're dead. No, they're
the-
dead. We keep kayfabe around here.
this is hard.
Keep
This
kayfabe.
is heartbreaking to say, but it's technically Dominic has lost his bio father and his adopted father, Rey
Oh my
Mysterio.
Oh my gosh, why'd you have to bring it up?
Well, because
I was just talking about Eddie last week, and now you brought it up. It's just
hey.
Well, what you're telling me is that 3 of the 6 people in the Money in the Bank ladder match are dead at this point.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, they are.
And if this keeps going, I mean, if this trend of pre-recorded matches keeps going,
They might kill the
how
whole
many
roster.
people are going to be dead? How many WWE superstars are going to die from this coronavirus?
If
thing?
you ha-
Not even of the virus, just from these crazy waves.
if you have information that will lead to the arrest of King Corbin, please reach out to the local authorities in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but unfortunately, he's above the law. He's got a diplomatic immunity.
You
does
know
have
he does.
diplomatic immunity. I'm just saying, You just feel so sorry for Zelina Vega. You know, she lost her husband, and her whole stable is falling apart, and you know they just can't win matches, and now she must just feel like the worst person in the world.
Oh, man. I gotta say that match just. I think you said it best, Landon, when you texted me or us, and you said, how come every time I'm ready to walk away from WWE, they do
Right.
something that just brings me back in, where you're just like, gosh dang it. And honestly, like the sort of swerve of Becky Lynch's announcement last night. I mean, I like Becky. I've never been a huge Becky Lynch fan. Like in the feud between her and Charlotte. I'm sorry, like we live in a Charlotte household over here.
Yeah.
My wife wouldn't have it any other way, and so I never felt more like empathy and just like, oh my gosh, I want. I want her to succeed as when she made the announcement last night that she was going to be a mother. Like, what a cool moment to have,
You mean
on Monday Night Raw.
you're not a fan of the only diva that's on my shelf over here?
Hey, listen, I'm a fan, but last night definitely put her into way more of a fan. I'm way more of a fan of old Becky Lynch
And it's like
than I was.
I know some people have been burnt out on her,
Yeah.
just with like the fact that she really hasn't done anything. And now we kind of know why, but it's like, in the same way, obviously it didn't end that way, but like whenever Cena proposed to Nikki at WrestleMania, it's like, just like what a cool, like, once in a lifetime moment where it's not kayfabed, but where they have that kind of
Right.
clout to where it's like, hey, like, I genuinely want to propose in front of everyone. Okay. Or it's like, hey, I want to do my birth announcement on live TV.
Right.
It's like awesome.
Like, it's so cool.
And I loved the added fact that Asuka congratulated her and like was over the moon excited for her.
I couldn't tell if Asuka knew before.
I've seen a couple of reports saying that she knew what was going to happen with the title, but she wasn't informed on why.
Wow, because you you almost see her drop kayfabe there. You almost
Right.
because she's just like, she's like, "Are you serious? Like, you're gonna be a mother?" And she just like goes over the moon, and Becky like just sitting there and crying like seriously, that was such an awesome moment, such a cool moment.
It was you kind of feel for Becky at the same time because yeah, she's going to be a mother and that's awesome, but like now it's happened while she was on top. And so it's like we'll never really know what would have happened with the end of that kind of deal, but
I don't
it's
know.
great.
I mean, I'll book it right here, right now. Becky Lynch becomes a mom, Ronda Rousey becomes a mom, and then it's the battle of the moms. You know what I'm saying? The one-on-one
God.
match that we never got.
Right.
I
Well,
don't know.
let's talk about our main man Otis real quick. Like this dude,
The caterpillar himself, the carnivore himself.
like let's just start on the fact that he put the weights on top of AJ Styles, and like he was so into the fact that the bar was already loaded and ready to go. I thought he was just going to start pushing out reps.
Honestly.
And then he just sits it on AJ, and AJ's just sitting there going, Ray, get this off of me, man. Ray, get over here. Selling like crazy.
That reminds, while we're talking about the weight room, whenever Baron Corbin throws the plate and
man.
it smashes the mirror, I thought,
So good.
because like there's just this little bit of a weird spot, like where he just like the camera stays on him like a little long, and he keeps like
Yeah.
looking at it, and I thought for sure Vince was gonna do a cameo, like where they pan and he's coming in like through the other side of the gym, like in a sleeveless
Oh
shirt,
my
and he's like,
gosh.
"What did you do?" And just like
That would have been so
like
good.
yell at them, and it's like, if you don't leave, you're all fired, and have them like all scatter.
In that moment, whenever that happened, I was like, okay, they're panning on him. They're doing this for a reason. Like they're sitting there watching him. Is he going to be the guy that goes off of the roof and like plummets to his death? because he broke the mirror and now he's got bad luck.
Well, what if that happened? What if Vince like got mad when he like? What if they saw it and then he went up to the roof, started throwing people off? That would have been amazing. That would have been so good.
He
There's-
throws all of them off and wins the Money in the Bank himself.
In our Facebook group, if you haven't seen it, you need to. Somebody posted an edit of Ray and Alistair getting thrown off to the roof, and it has the eliminated text and sound effects of the WrestleMania 19 GameCube video game, where if you've never played it, just YouTube it. Literally, the story mode, I think it's called Revenge Mode, and you're fired from the WWE, and Stephanie hires you to take out Vince's empire. And so you will go to construction sites and skyscrapers and stuff, and you will literally kill Vince's henchmen. And you, like, to kill them, you have to throw them off of the platform, and in big red letters, it'll say eliminated. And then, like, someone like Eddie Guerrero or Tajiri or, like, A-Train will come out. And so, all the more reasons for you guys to join our Facebook group.
Honestly,
They need to.
I mean,
They need to.
that's you know, that leads me into something where I've, you know, obviously I'm on this podcast, obviously, and then I have a video game podcast, and you know, I've never played very many wrestling video games, but it's always something I've been interested in. So I've kind of started a little project here where I'm going to collect all of the wrestling video games out there, and
Yes.
play them, and do almost like a ranking of wrestling games, or so to speak. But yeah, that's like I've never played. You know, I've never played Revenge Mode on the WrestleMania 19 GameCube game, so it's like that's something I got to do. You know,
Well,
got to get on that.
also, you know, in the Money in the Bank match too, who else loved when Otis got the sandwich in his hand and he just started freaking out, like convulsing,
Just starts obliterating it.
and
What
and then
about
go
when-
and then just food fight, like
what about the moment in which Otis and Nia Jax stare each other down, and Otis is just
Chewing.
munching that sandwich?
it
and
is
it's
just poured.
flying
My
out
wife
of his
literally looked
mouth.
at the screen
Oh.
and like made the gag like puke sound. Like, this is the grossest thing.
The funny thing is that that's what I do to Kaylee when we're out, like if we're out to eat and like there's a lull in the conversation, I'll just start chewing like that, and it's just like she's like, "You're disgusting." So I was like, "Look, babe, it's me."
I will say, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I definitely have been like craving like
Yeah.
a bougie sandwich since watching Otis first obliterate one and then eat one. So I totally went to the deli today, got some
There you
fancy
go.
bread and some fancy hand-cut
Yeah.
meat, and just pretended to be Otis for a little bit.
Can I ask y'all a
right
question?
there.
And maybe y'all might know why.
I'd love.
Why was Asuka
love for
and
you.
Baron Corbin fighting on the top of the ladder?
I
I mean, it was
Because
awesome, but it was
awesome.
like,
I don't know. That was so
why are y'all
weird.
fighting? Both of you grabbed the other briefcase. Like,
right. It didn't click in my head until they showed the replay of Asuka grabbing the briefcase. I was like, wait, why are they like? Why are they
like it was a-
fighting? Maybe because Asuka's just such a great baby face.
and it was like
she
a
couldn't let
free
the heel
moment for
win.
him to just grab the briefcase. Like just grab it. It's right there. Like,
It was amazing. Like I thought everyone did fantastic. Like I don't think there was a bad wrestler in that match though for what it was. And I mean, I want more of this.
can
Like,
I
give me
share with
more
y'all
of
Amanda's
this.
favorite part of the Money in the Bank? So Carmella,
Absolutely.
did she take out Nia Jax? She takes out Nia Jax right after she takes
Yeah, I
out
think
Dana
so.
Brooke, and then just immediately gets hit with the women's right by Lacey Evans. Yeah,
And it's like
and
a
Amanda
split
goes,
cut where
"Oh!" And then she heard her go, "You nasty," and Amanda lost her mind. She was like, "That is." She was over there cracking
That's
up, and
so
the rest of
good.
the night she's just going, "You nasty."
You nasty. You nasty. I'm surprised Lacey
Well, I
didn't
mean,
win, to be honest.
knowing now what we know, we understand. Like, it's kind of hard to hand over the title to someone who is a new champion. Like, you need someone that can like hold down that division for a little while.
Yeah.
I'm just
I thought overall it was a fantastic match, and I want more. I want more. Give me more.
yeah, I think I was listening to Ryback his thoughts on Money in the Bank just before we got on the line, and he brought up a good point about what AEW is doing better in their presentation. During all of this is, yes, it's a wrestling show, so you need wrestling on it, but they're doing a lot more outside of the box stuff. And so I think WWE like AEW cannot touch the Money in the Bank, the Boneyard match, and the Firefly Funhouse. So it's like they just announced like last night that Backlash is the next pay-per-view, and it's like, okay, is it fully just going to be empty performance center? Are we going to have a little bit of a crowd then, or are we going to get a cool cinematic match again? Fingers
Well,
crossed.
here's the thing: if there's not a cinematic match, I can't really think of what I would want to see. Like, it would be cool to see Asuka defend her title.
Right.
Absolutely, that's always going to be a good match. But like, I don't know what exactly. Like, you're gonna give me another Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown tag?
Right.
Like,
Which the New Day would
Our-
probably win. And it's like I love Edge and I love Orton, but it's like
yeah.
they can't do another big match
Right.
without a crowd. Like you're missing that element from the storytelling. Now, if they want to do like something totally cinematic to where it's like, hey, like I would love them to shoot a thing to where it's like Randy Orton breaks
Yeah.
into Edge's like cabin in the woods and like kidnaps like his wife and kids and just do something crazy like that.
Well, I think it's telling when he's like challenged him to a quote unquote traditional wrestling match. You know, like I could see it if they do. Let's just say they give him 6 minutes. I could see them doing a hot 6-minute match.
Yeah.
But I don't want another 12 to 20-minute like wrestling match with Edge and Orton.
And here's the thing, like you cannot do a long wrestling match without a crowd. You can't, because then it's just empty moves. Because it's like, well, where's the There's no one to pop for the moves.
Well, and they're not even changing like the way. At least AEW, in a sense, some of the stuff they do, they're changing the way they do it, where it's like longer matches, but they're not wrestling to a crowd. They're wrestling to themselves.
Right.
And with WWE, it seems like at least the matches that don't have a crowd, it's just like the exact same as they have been.
Yeah.
And at least
it's like
with
what's
AEW's
the point?
empty matches, they've got the wrestlers around the ring, so there's people to pop for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's like, why, like WWE, tell me you don't want Otis out
With
there
the
like
briefcase
cheering during
eating
a
ham
match.
sandwich out of the briefcase.
Exactly. Like, cut.
I always want Otis to be eating a ham sandwich.
Cut
Always.
to Otis like opening up the briefcase and pulling the sandwich out and like cheering for who's ever in the match.
Just
Or
full
it's
of
just
chili.
and he's just eating the chili.
It's
like,
just him and
straight
Tucky
out
over
of it.
there, You know, Mandy's right behind him, and they just both have a spoon
Yeah,
going,
I'm telling you.
Did
I'm
y'all hear
into it.
this deal where Otis said he's going to cash in for the tag team titles?
Oh no.
Yeah. He said,
Really?
like,
Oh
before
no.
it even aired, that if he wins, he was cashing in with Tucker for the tag team belts.
You know, I'm not entirely mad about that because you're not going to give the SmackDown belt to him at all because it's either going to be on Braun or Bray at this point. And McIntyre's, so it's almost like he would go nowhere. But if he cashed in for the tag belts, I feel like that actually is not a terrible.
It's what needs to happen. Because this is why I was fearful for Otis to win it in the first place. Because it's like Otis isn't going to get the big babyface run with it. He's going to get it if he goes against Drew. Drew would have to be a heel, and it's like Braun. Like you can't have him as a babyface if he gets against it. Now I'm saying like if Bray Wyatt would have won the belt, you could do like Otis and Bray Wyatt. You could do that, and it's like, oh well, like if Otis loses, like it's against the Fiend. That makes sense. I think that's the smartest thing is like for Otis. I would hear me out. I would die if like Otis cashed in on like the 24/7 title or something. But I don't think the 24/7 title exists anymore.
Well, Gronk took it down to Tampa, and he's never coming back.
Yeah,
except for R-Truth did call out.
Wanted his title back.
Tom Brady.
It's true.
Question off the top of your head, because I don't know who's the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Is it not Private Party?
Yeah, it's the Street Profits. I had to think about it too.
Okay.
The
Also,
other Private Party.
I was literally like, why can't I think of who that is? But see, like, if you go Street Profits and Heavy Machinery, I'm into that.
Watching a little bit of Raw last night, are the Viking Raiders faces again? Did y'all see their segment last night where they played basketball with the Street Profits?
No, I haven't seen that. Okay, wait a second. I heard about this.
They legitimately played basketball.
Though?
I mean, it was cut scenes where they were cutting in between the plays, but like they made it look like the Viking Raiders don't know what basketball is. And then at the end, the one that's not married to Sarah Logan, the bigger one, goes, haha, y'all thought you beat us because like the scoreboard says like 75-0.
Wow. The Fiend, we're pulling the curtain back a little bit. The Fiend has just taken Jake out.
Sorry, guys.
Wait, the light's breaking. Okay. Jake, how was it being attacked by the Fiend momentarily? What was it like?
And I am now afraid for my life. That was the scariest thing that's ever happened.
Well, as you should be, sir.
Okay.
As you should
be. I was talking about the scoreboard. The scoreboard said 75-2 in favor of the Street Profits.
Yeah.
And it legit said Profits Vikings. So at the end, the other one goes, you thought we couldn't play basketball. And then he proceeds to make like 14 in a row from half court. And it's like, what is going on right now? What was the point of this?
Why?
Well, we can't make them both look weak. They got to look strong.
Oh, that's just...
Can we also, thinking about basketball and ballin', as it was brought up on Money in the Bank, can we just talk about like how somehow like MVP keeps showing up, even though it seemed like he was just like a one.
Yeah, I thought he was done. He was like, I'm doing the Rumble. I just want my kid to see me wrestle in WWE, and that's it. And then they just keep bringing him back. And did you hear the rumor that he's?
I think that was the point of that.
I'm so cool.
Like they said that MVP was going to lead a stable and one of the main members was going to be a heel
I like that.
Apollo Crews.
I like that a lot.
Because, like, here's the thing, like, MVP, whenever they did the brand split, like in 2016, and brought back, like, Shelton and Kurt Hawkins and guys like that, MVP should have been one of those guys because of, like, what a
So
hand he
good.
is. Like, he's great on the mic. He's great in the ring. Like, and he's, like, one of those things, like, he can be awesome as a face or, like, he can be a great heel because he loves to talk crap.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
well, like,
I-
give
I
me
know
all
his
the
character was
MVP.
supposed to be the dude from Jerry Maguire. That it was the football player. Like, that was his character. So, like, he's the dude you love to hate. Like, you cheer him on the football field, but he's a
yeah.
prick.
Yeah, like if you haven't ever seen any of his early vignettes, they're incredible because it was like until his debut on SmackDown, there were like 3 or 4 weeks where they would just cut to like a press box in whatever arena they were at, and like MVP's just sitting up there like in a super nice suit, super nice shades, like tons of bling hanging off, and they're just like, "Hey, this is like Montel Vontavious Porter, the biggest like signee in WWE history."
Yeah, and weren't Raw and
I'm just
SmackDown
saying,
both trying to sign him during
we
that
got
too?
to see-
like
Yeah, and it's just like this awesome thing to where they made it a big deal, and
Hey man, we got to
like-
see him wrestle live.
dude, yeah, we did. I'm just saying, like, MVP's one of those guys, like, he's done a great job of staying relevant, but also, like, making a bigger deal about himself
yeah.
on the independents. Like,
was a-
wrestling over in Japan for quite a bit, doing all of his Ronin stuff. Like, coming to the U.S., doing stuff with Impact, doing stuff
Doing-
with, like, smaller indies, like,
I mean, World Class Revolution. That's who he wrestles for sometimes in Oklahoma.
guys, he was the IWGP Intercontinental Champion at one point. Like, MVP held that title. Like, it just shows what kind of like name he's made for himself, and he with a when he
so
was
wild.
very limited, for a long time.
yeah, because
So,
we never got to, and I still think MVP's one of those guys we haven't seen at his peak. Like, I think the potential's still there. We didn't get to see it the first time, his first run. We saw a lot more glimpses
Mhm.
of it outside of WWE. And it's like, I'll say this, like, hear me out. I'm just spitballing here. If MVP talks Otis into joining his stable, and he's like, man, like, hey, like, trust me, I'll take care of you. And Otis being like the big sweetheart he is, like, trust MVP. MVP weasels the, like, Money in the Bank briefcase from him. And, like, if MVP used that to cash in on Drew
Oh man,
and just do, like, a super scumbag, like, squish Otis under your foot, screw him out of the briefcase, and, like, just become a mega heel. Like, that could work. Like, make MVP, like, MJF levels of, like, scumbag.
That would be amazing.
And
You
it's
know
like,
what this
you're
just
just,
made
you're
me
just printing
want?
money.
like that whole conversation. I want on Friday, like every manager in the company, every living manager that's still around, all just sitting around Otis like, hey, sign with me and we'll make sure that you have like the longest reign ever.
Oh, dude, that's like
Right.
That's like Macho Man's debut level of
And he's like,
of goodness.
and he's just like, no, I
Dude,
gotta go
give me-
with my Mandy girl. Like,
Like, it's, like, in The Blind Side.
exactly.
Whenever
Yes.
whenever like all the different
That's
colleges are like coming out to recruit him and stuff, it's like, give me that with Otis, and like you could run with that for weeks to where it's like, hey, this Friday we have Paul Heyman and 2 other people, and then next week it's like, whoa, like, hey, here's Jimmy Hart, like, here's John Laurinaitis, here's some other people, and just like keep doing it, and then
I love it.
have it to where like the icing on the cake is Mandy's like, well, Otis, like, if you let me manage you, like, I've got an
Exactly.
entire ham right here.
And that's his
And he's
Mandy
like,
girl. Like
sold.
that's his
He's
girl.
sold.
So he's gonna obviously go with Mandy and ham. Like
I love it.
so.
Oh well, Money in the Bank was fantastic. Made me happy. I want to get into.
I've
what I
been
have to
waiting
talk
for
about
this
today, if
since
guys
you
don't
told
mind.
us.
Let's do it.
Like,
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a rundown of my train of thought. My birthday is November 9th, 1994. There is another day in history, in wrestling history. There's another thing that happened on November 9th, 1997. And that is the Montreal Screwjob.
Ooh.
So on my third
Yeah.
birthday, this happened. And it got me thinking, man, that's cool. I wonder what happened on my actual birthday. Like the day I was born into this world. And so I happened to go look at this website, Cage Match. It's a wrestling database. And I got to pull every card from my birthday. And I was looking through it, and I was like, that's so cool that I can see that. And then I thought, you know what would be really fun is if we talk about some matches that took place on all of our birthdays and our significant other's birthdays. So Jake and I's wife and Landon's girlfriend. And so I haven't pulled up here. If I can just start going down,
let's do it.
the kind of rabbit hole here. Jake, this is your birthday, November 10th, 1990. You have there's some of these I'm not super familiar with, so you'll just have to bear with me. You have a couple different promotions. Capital Sports Promotion in Puerto Rico took place. Eric Embray wrestled that day for them. Won the Caribbean Tag Team titles with Rick Valentine. I'm not familiar with Rick Valentine.
Obviously, that is
You have
you know, what was the Valentine that was in WWF? That's his brother, right? That's the Hammer's brother, right?
Is it? That would make
Kayfabe,
sense.
maybe.
Now,
don't know.
I will say, I'm not super familiar. There was I know there's a bodybuilder named Rick Valentine.
Maybe he wrestled the Super Medic.
And I'm just saying,
for
he's
the
been.
Caribbean Tag Team titles.
I'll just say like Puerto Rico has the history of bringing in a lot of different cats, and there is footage of Rick Valentine or Valentine working out with Hulk Hogan.
There you go. That's all that I need to know in order
Exactly.
to say that that's exactly what it is. I'm gonna keep.
Oh.
Going. I'm gonna keep going here. If you're, or you got something, Landon?
Okay, yes. Wait, maybe. Okay, so I'm looking at him. So Rick Valentine is actually named Kerry Brown. It's a different one than the bodybuilder.
Okay.
But he did wrestle in Puerto Rico. He's an older dude. He debuted in 1979,
Oh, there you go.
but he retired
Wow.
in
It's
2009.
a long career.
Love it. I love it. Okay, so you also have a promotion that I've never heard of called Super World Sports, SWS. Wrestle in Japan. I haven't heard of one wrestler who wrestled on that day, but Jake, it happened on your birthday. I'll send
I'm
you
actually
guys all
looking
these
at it right
cards,
now,
too,
following along
so
with you.
can see. Nice. Okay, there you go. Okay,
Jake, have you seen the
I
Super
just saw
World
it.
Sports logo?
The black and white
It's
kind of
pretty
looks like the
legit.
ECW logo. Straight and strong.
Yeah.
Do you see the animal
No.
depicted above it? I'm looking at a banner right now, and it's a hybrid
my
of
gosh,
a
I'm looking
T-Rex
it
and
up right now.
Godzilla.
Ah, that sounds amazing. That's not on the logo on Cage Match.
Do it.
And then I'll go ahead and keep going. Here you have the Catch Wrestling Association International Catch Cup 1990
Sick.
Tag 9 singles match.
Ooh.
Tony St. Clair.
Dave
versus
Taylor
Fit
on
Finlay,
this?
right there off the bat. Can't be a bad one. Steve Wright versus Dave Taylor. You got Rambo versus Texas Scott. Don't know who those all are, but they
I'm
sound
just
amazing.
saying that might
And
be
then,
my new
someone
ring
named
name
Cannonball
is
Grizzly, which I'm
Cannonball
always into.
Grizzly, because that is like the greatest ring name I've ever heard in my life.
Honestly.
Dude.
Okay, then you have Pacific Northwest Wrestling and an NWA co-promotion here. The Pacific Northwest Heavyweight title
Ooh.
match. Steve Dahl defeats the Grappler.
For the title. He won the title from him that night.
So that's cool. He won the title there, yeah. Like I said, I don't know who these people are, but the Equalizer, John Rambo, Larry Oliver. Okay, so then you also have 2 WWF house shows, and this is where we get into stuff that we're going to know. So the first one
looking at
took
that.
place in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, so I'm just going to run down the card here. Battle Cat defeats Buddy Rose. You have the British Bulldog defeating Haku. You have the Orient Express,
they
who
were
I've
awful.
never heard of, but that sounds awful, defeating the Bushwhackers. You got Big Boss Man defeats the Barbarian. It's probably a good one. Here's one. Sergeant Slaughter defeats
that's
Nikolai
classic
Volkov.
match right there.
It's good.
Okay.
Right. You got the Rockers defeating Power and Glory. You have for the Intercontinental title, the Texas Tornado defeats
That would be
Mr.
a beautiful
Perfect.
match.
That had to be a heck of a match. And then the headline, the main event was
That makes me
Randy
so happy that
Savage
Randy
and
Savage fought
Ultimate
for the
Warrior.
title on my birthday.
Yes.
It makes me happy too. Then you have a house show in Richmond, Virginia, which is very good here. You have Heart Foundation defeats Rhythm and Blues. That's a great match,
Oh,
Jake.
man.
Ted DiBiase defeats Dusty Rhodes. Not mad about it.
That can't be right.
Here's where it gets weird. It can't be right because it says Legion of Doom and Ultimate Warrior defeat Demolition, which if Ultimate Warrior was fighting Macho Man, that can't be correct. I don't know, though. And then apparently there was a
So
Battle
is
Royal
this? I'm looking at
Roddy
the
Piper
date
won.
right here. Is this supposedly like British UK? Okay.
It's
Okay.
this website is German.
Interesting.
So
And it also
Yeah.
says, oh wait, no, and Ted DiBiase was on this card. Could you imagine going to a show and there being only 4 matches?
yeah, it can't be complete because there have had to be more. Some of the stuff in this, I think it's pretty much like if people have gone to the shows, they can
Right.
put in the matches there.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's Jake. That's your birthday. Happy birthday. I have to say, I think the best.
The most
match
headlining
had to
match.
be
I'm sure
Macho
some of
and
these
Ultimate
others
Warrior.
had a
That's
really
probably pretty
good
good.
like
Easily.
night. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
And you have to think, like, what are the odds you get literally the 2 most psychotic,
and one of them is my
intense
favorite
wrestlers of all
all-time
time having a match on your birthday?
wrestler
Right.
fighting for the title while I was being born.
Exactly.
Dude, that's
Makes me-
fate.
While you were being born. Okay, so I will say that Jake, I mentioned this the other day. Yours was the only birthday out of all
It's
6
crazy.
of us that Aja Kong did not wrestle on. Which
What
that
it makes you
me happy.
it makes you happy that she
So here
didn't fight
goes-
on
here
my
goes
birthday?
Landon.
That's
Or,
that's
you
so
know what? Hold on.
mean. Like
No, it makes me happy that she wrestled on all of ours.
I guarantee you won't find her in the kitchen making biscuits.
All right, JR.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go through Amanda's real quick. For anyone who doesn't know, Amanda is Jake's wife. So you have All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, where you have Aja Kong wrestling in a tag in the main event, of course.
Oh man,
You
blood
have
and guts.
Frontier
promotion.
Martial Arts Wrestling. Big Titan and Ricky Fuji versus Sabu and the Sheik.
Sabu
Come on now,
and the
someone say
Sheik.
something. I love it.
Yee.
Man.
That
Dude,
kid-
FMW doesn't play.
I'm
Hashtag exploding cage of death.
exploding cage of death. Okay, then you have All Japan happen this day. Abdullah the Butcher and Giant Kamala tagged together, which that's pretty wild. This also was a 6-man tag that was Giant Baba, Stan
gosh.
Hansen, and Tamon Honda against Kobashi, Misawa, and Satoru Asako.
Guys, on
And
this
that, I
same
bet, was
card
really good.
is my other favorite all-time wrestler, Dr. Death Steve Williams. And
Who
people
I was-
power.
Hey, there you go. He
People
tagged
power.
Johnny Ace, who we saw in the Money in the Bank match. I'm saying, like, come on now. So that took place. Okay, then you have Union of Professional Wrestling
Oh,
Force
man.
International.
Severn.
I haven't heard of it.
Severn.
Dan Severn? What?
Dan Severn.
Severn?
Daniel the Beast Severn. Shout out OSU.
One of the
shout
biggest
out
badasses of all time.
WWF, NWA, and the Ultimate.
Love
And
it.
like one of the nicest guys. There's one of the greatest things is during his WWF run, it was Dan Severn walking down to the Raw ring with both the UFC heavyweight title
That's-
and
that
the
was
NWA
when,
heavioweight
that was
title
when
on
WWE
WWF TV.
And
That's pretty
the
hardcore,
NWA were working together, weren't they? Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. Okay, so then the next was, I will say, Amanda is the only one to
Wow.
have a Dave Meltzer 5-star match on her birthday, which is Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats,
Juventud.
mispronounced this, Juventud Guerrera.
Juventud.
Juventud Guerrera in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the
Wow.
World Lightweight title.
I've
which
got to go
is
watch
a
that match.
Dave
like,
Meltzer 5-star.
that sounds like a great match.
5 stars.
Hoovy is amazing. If you've never seen Hoovy
Honestly.
wrestle, you need to watch Juventud. Like, unbelievable.
I have not. I'm gonna go watch some of these matches from all these. So then we have a New Japan match a New Japan card that took place. Ron Simmons is on it. Riki Choshu, Black Tiger, Wild Pegasus. So that's pretty good. Catch Wrestling Association. Again, this is another thing where Fit Finley wrestled, which is pretty cool. He defeated Eric Watts. And then you have, I'm sure they taped it, but you have the WWF Wrestling Challenge 433.
Okay, so
434 and 435.
I would assume that means that that's the day they
So-
filmed them, because I'm showing a broadcast date as something else. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that realistically, that's probably when they were taped.
So they taped three of them. So I'm just gonna go down here. You have Razor Ramon defeating Sonny Pruitt. You have Hakushi defeats Gary Scott. Jeff Jarrett defeats Corey Student. Mabel is on it. He beat Mike Bell. The Heavenly Bodies with James E. Cornette defeats J.S. Storm and Ray
Chris
Raymond.
Canyon. Wow.
Aldo Montoya defeats Chris Canyon. Okay. Then you have Owen Hart defeats Buck Quartermain. The 1-2-3 Kid defeats Bert Centino. IRS with Ted DiBiase defeats Nick Barberry. You got the Smoking Guns defeating Dwayne
Gilbert.
Gill.
Gilbert. How did we just time that together so well?
Gilbert.
You got the. I love it.
I
Okay,
don't
So
know.
you have the Smoking Guns.
Formidable
defeating
tag team.
Gilbert and the Brooklyn Brawler. love it. Adam Bomb defeats Barry Hardy.
My
and
gosh.
Henry O. Godwin defeats Tony Roy.
Dude, shout out to the Godwins. Spread some slop.
Okay, then you have Hakushi with Scott Taylor. British
Jimmy, do you know who Scott Taylor is?
Scott Taylor. I'm not familiar, no.
Scotty Too Hottie.
Scott-
He would have had to been a
Hottie,
pup
love
at
it.
that point. Like that, he would have been young.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. British Bulldog wrestled on this.
Already in the
Funny
ring.
that they don't know in this database. King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy defeats Stephen King, the writer, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Well done. I don't know. Lex Luger wrestled. Then you have the main event of that is Duke the Dumpster Droz defeating Charlie Hunter.
Dude, I'm loving that well done
So-
tag team. Steven
Shout out to
Dunn
the
and
Dumpster.
Timothy Well with Harvey Whippleman as their
Well
manager.
Dude, like, like Jimmy, that card is from like the new
Oh, dude.
generation of Ham and Eggers.
That was all you
just
got on TV
thriving.
was
Oh,
Ham and Eggers
100%.
versus your big stars.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, so that was Amanda's birthday. Now I'm gonna do mine. I'll zoom through it real quick. You got Aja Kong wrestling for All Japan Women's. You have UWA and AAA co-branded event. Cybernetico wrestled.
Oh, Cien Karas, isn't that Dos Karas' father?
I'm not.
You know who Dos Karas is, right, Jimmy?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
Alberto Del Rio. Right.
Oh, dude.
There,
Hey,
it's
RIP him, right? Isn't he
to
going
be
to jail for a
determined
long
whether
time?
he is out yet.
Yeah, that is Dos Caros is Alberto.
Oh, there you go.
Dude,
Right.
what a tragic career, the John Jones of pro wrestling.
Honestly. You also have Paraguayo wrestle that day, which RIP. ICW wrestling, which I'm pretty sure ICW was. Isn't that?
Now there is the ICW in Scotland.
Yeah, this is this is in North
yeah.
Carolina, which I'm pretty sure is.
I thought the Beyond the
The
Mat
Beyond the Mat
promotion was
promotion, am I
in
wrong?
California.
Let me
Because I'm pretty sure Mike Majors was one of the guys who was in. I could be completely wrong.
What was?
let's do a quick little internet
Who-
check.
Where's Roland Alexander? What's going on? I'll move on because I'm not familiar. Okay, you have on my birthday an episode of
you go.
WCW Saturday Night. The Nasty Boys wrestle. This is where I came up with. I didn't know this. One Jean-Paul Levesque defeated Bobby Walker,
Yeah.
otherwise known as Triple H, which was pretty interesting. Brad Armstrong
Natural.
defeats Rip Rogers. Dustin Rhodes, the Natural. The Fantastics wrestled. The Butcher was with Avalanche and Kevin Sullivan defeated Larry Santo. Harlem Heat wrestled. Sting defeated Denny Brown. And then for the WWC United States Heavyweight title, Jim Duggan defeats
He would have
Steve
been,
Austin by disqualification.
He would have been one of the Hollywood Blondes at
Now-
that point.
I'm all about that.
That would be a hot
I'm
match.
all about that. And then you have some more wrestling challenges that took place on my birthday. I'm gonna see if there's any. Well Done wrestled. Adam Bomb, Owen Hart, Razor Ramon, Jeff Jarrett, Bushwhackers. Let's see who else. Doink with Dink wrestled. Jim Neidhart, Bam Bam Bigelow, Lex Luger.
Jimmy, you're right. Mike Majors
that's what I
did
thought.
wrestle for ICW in Carolina. They were around from
were they the ones that were in Beyond the
1990
Mat,
to
though?
2009.
I love it.
Gotcha. Sorry.
That's what I am currently researching. Continue,
You
Jimmy.
have Men on a Mission wrestle, IRS, the British Bulldog, Tatanka, the 1-2-3 Kid, and then, which is I'm happy this happened on my birthday, King Kong Bundy with Ted DiBiase
Yeah,
defeating
dude.
the Ham and Egger.
He would have been
Jeff
in his
Hardy.
full 80s garb at that point, like bright neon
Which, come on
colors
now.
and
100%. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go.
Can
I'm
I
gonna
just
zip
say
over to
real quick while
Kaylee's
you're looking that up,
cards here.
they were really pushing Well Done hard at that
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
right? That's 2 straight cards that Well Done went over, and I've never even heard of
I
these
know, that's what I'm
guys.
saying. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to look up some of these shows for sure. Watch them. Okay, this is Kaylee's birthday. My wife, Aja Kong wrestled. She had a Michinoku Pro. Where the Great Sasuke and Tiger Mask tagged in a 6-man
Can't be
tag
mad.
together, which can't be mad about that. You also have this is All Japan Pro Wrestling. Holy Demon Army
Right.
defeated Johnny
Van-
Smith and Rob Van
What year
Dam.
was this? Okay.
This is 95. Then you have the Holy Demon Army wrestle to a Broadway there. One of your favorites, Jake.
Wow.
Wrestle Kenta Kobashi and Mitsuharu Misawa.
Time limit draw.
60-minute. Yep. You also have Giant Baba wrestled. Johnny Smith. Stan Hansen. Then you have a tag team match, Abdullah the Butcher and Giant Kamala defeating Dory Funk Jr. and Mike
No.
Anthony. Again, can't be mad about it. All right. Then you have a Catch Wrestling Association. This is another one that takes place in Europe. Lance Storm and Tony St. Clair defeats Dan Collins and Fit Finley. That just seems good. You have another AAA match here, or a card here that has a bunch of people that I don't know any. I know Conan wrestled, so that's cool. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jushin Thunder Liger wrestled on my wife's birthday. I love that. That makes me happy. Godo wrestled.
Yes, he is the booker.
I
He,
believe
him and somebody
booker
else
now.
are the booker of New Japan.
Yeah. Okay. So then you have a WWF house show where the main event was the Smoking Guns defeating Men on a Mission, which is cool. Marty Jannetty defeated the British Bulldog, but in a very odd match. And maybe you guys, I was not aware that he wrestled this late. You have Bob Backlund defeating.
That would have been around the
1-2-3
time that
Kid
he
in
came back, wouldn't it have,
1995.
Landon? When he won the title again?
Yes. Yeah. Because WrestleMania 11 is in 1995, and that year is whenever he won the title and lost it. I'm trying to see the actual date because he was kind of like in the lower mid card in 95,
He was there to pop a
96. Yeah.
All right. I'm now going to the cards of Landon Bumgarner's birthday. Again,
Woo.
you have a All Japan card, All Japan women's card that has Aja Kong. You have Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling card. You have a River City Wrestling card. You have a River City. They were in Canada, is what it looks like. Another Catch Wrestling Association card. Then you have two cards that land. I think you're going to be happy they took place. One is a WWF house show in London, where in the main event was Bret Hart defeating Hakushi. You also have Shawn Michaels versus IRS. You also have
what a great match.
honestly. You also have the Undertaker.
Kama
wrestling
Mustafa?
Kama. I think
Yeah.
it's
I think-
Godfather.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm way down with that.
So that's fun. Men on a Mission defeating the Head Shrinkers. Smoking Guns defeating the Blue Twins.
Ham and
which
Eggers.
I've never heard of the Blue Twins.
Ham and Eggers.
And then you have Jean-Pierre Lafitte defeating Duke Drozd, who Jean-Pierre Lafitte is also known as PCO.
Dude, PCO, not human.
Not human. Okay, and then, Landon, on your birthday, what if I told you that Smoky Mountain Wrestling had a card?
For all the listeners
stars
at
are
home,
aligning.
Smoky Mountain is probably Landon's
Honestly.
favorite
So you,
promotion of all time.
I mean, honestly, when I saw this, I got so happy for you. There's only four matches on this, so I don't know what else happened on this card. But you have
Boo Bradley.
Boo Bradley defeating Killer Kyle. Steve Armstrong defeats Buddy Landell.
Oh, the other Nature Boy.
You have
Oh man, Dirty
Thugs,
White
Dirty
Boy.
White Boy, and Tracy Smother
Yes.
defeating the Headbangers. And then, are you ready for this? This is
I'm
quite
ready.
possibly
I'm
my
ready.
favorite match of anyone's birthday. You have the Rock and Roll Express defeating Al Snow
Wow.
and Unabomb.
Dude, which do you know who that is?
That is, it's gonna be Kane.
It's got to be Kane. That makes me so
That's awesome.
happy.
Dude, it should. Yeah, and then real quick on Ashley's birthday, you have an All Japan women's card that has Aja Kong on it. You have a New Japan card
Ooh.
that has Rick Steiner on it. El Samurai and Jushin Thunder Liger team up. Steven Regal is in one of the tag matches. And then a CMLL card that has the Headhunters on it. So the Headhunters wrestled on you and Ashley's birthday. And that, even though that was kind of long, is basically those are all of our birthday matches, all the cards that I found. I just thought that was kind of interesting and fun to run those down. I got to say, I think that main event of that Smoky Mountain Wrestling has to be the best match. But I don't know. There's some.
I don't know.
But see, that's not going to be
Macho
a good
Man
match.
versus
That's just gonna
Ultimate
have a lot of
Warrior.
star
But
power.
that also is like.
I mean,
It's got, I think, overall, if you're watching it live, the Smoky Mountain one might be better. If you're watching on TV, absolutely the Warrior Macho one. Because it's one of those things like live wrestling.
right.
What you like on live wrestling is always
Right.
going to be different necessarily than what you like on TV because not everything translates as well. That being said, like I would absolutely
Oh, dude.
love to see the Ultimate Warrior live and in person. Like to see him like come in and clear the ring, but if it comes to like, oh, like I paid, $75 for a ticket and I got a like 1 hour of Raw, then I would be a little sad. But
Right.
house shows are always better than the TV shows in my book.
That they are. Hey, on the only house show I've ever been. Oh, I guess I went to the NXT house show, which was good. But the Raw house show we went to, the opening match was AJ Styles
It's
versus
a beautiful
Matt
match,
Hardy.
man.
And how can you be mad about that?
Right, like what for the longest time people think like being the curtain jerker is like a bad thing because it's like, oh, like you're literally the farthest from being on last, but it's like, dude,
Set
like
the tempo.
what an important role to like bring, like, yeah, you set the tempo for the night, like you put it up, it's like, oh, like do I want to tune, like if I'm watching a show, do I want the opening match to be like local talent getting squashed by Braun, or it's like, hey, we're starting the night off, and the match is for the United States Championship. Here we go, Matt Hardy versus AJ. It's like
It was awesome.
this could be a 5-minute match, but because of both the star power and like those two being
Right.
good enough to where like, hey, like 5 minutes is all they need to blow the roof off the place, and it's like, yeah,
I
well,
love that.
I hope
Give
you
it to me.
guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the trip down birthday lane. Hopefully, I didn't bore any of the listeners too much, but I think I'm gonna do my best to seek out some of these shows. I don't know if there's any wrestling challenge on the network, but
there's a handful of episodes in the hidden gems section.
there you go. I'm gonna have to.
I think, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I know there's some, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure
gonna have
which
to,
ones.
I'm gonna have to hunt down some of these cards to watch, and
I'm just kind of
that'd be
sad
fun
that
for
I
sure.
can't watch that house show. Like
I want to.
I really want to see that Warrior Macho Man match.
I know. Well,
Maybe.
Vince has it somewhere in an archive.
in one of those, like, how great would it be, going back to the Money in the Bank match, if like they ran into like the tape room and you just see like, obviously they couldn't have like anything controversial, but like if they had like infamous like lost matches or something, like just like labeled so like
And
ridiculously,
then someone breaks one over the
on
other
it
guy's
to where
head,
it's
like it said "Gorgeous George" on it. And
yeah, it's like, or it's like the have it ridiculous, or it's like the one where Ric Flair
Yeah.
and all of the NWA jumped over the railing and jumped Hulk Hogan, and then it's like have that be the
Oh,
tape
no.
that shatters. It's like, whoa,
Man,
wait,
that
wait,
would
wait,
be
wait,
great.
wait.
Can you imagine if that? Can you imagine if that was your job as the WWE archivist? Like,
Dude, he's got some videos on YouTube, and he's social media, but it's not super active. But if you haven't seen that stuff on YouTube,
what is it?
it's insane. And like, it's just the entitled. Let me see. I think it might just be like the WWE archivist. But what he does is like his job is like curating the
Yes, I've
WWE
seen some of his
storage
stuff.
warehouse.
Man,
And so it's like, hey, like I'm pretty sure they shot the Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, if you just YouTube WWE archives, it'll pop up. There's stuff on Reddit if you search it, and then he's like at WWE archivist on Twitter and Instagram. But it's like, hey, here's the giant SmackDown
Here's
fist.
the-
Here's the set for WCW
here's the
Thunder.
Punjabi prison.
Oh, like here's the tank DX rode in on. Yeah, like there's a scene on shout out to Holy Foley on the WWE Network. There's an episode where they go to the warehouse and Mick Foley like you it looks like if you've ever gone to a hardware store and see like where they have like the rolls of chain link fence, that's how the Hell in the Cell is stored, and Mick Foley walks over to it and just like weeps at it. And it like cuts to his family, and they're like, it's pretty powerful moment for my dad." And like Mick Foley's just like, just to stand in front of it.
Oh my gosh.
I've never felt
This is
anything
on
like
Holy
that.
Foley?
It's on Holy Foley. It's
Oh, I
worth
gotta watch
watching.
that show. I
I'm
need to
so
watch that.
excited
I
to
need
watch,
Legends
speaking
House
of
again.
other things that aren't wrestling but wrestling adjacent, I'm so excited to watch this Undertaker doc.
Have you watched any of it?
Me too.
I watched the 13-minute
Yeah,
preview
same.
of it on
I
YouTube.
watched the preview, but I haven't watched the first episode yet.
That's what I was watching right before we got on the call. I was like, "Oh, I really want to watch it." I may start that tonight. Honestly,
crazy is it that they decided to drop this, The Undertaker Last Ride, right as they are finishing up the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary that was like 6 parts, and this is going to be 6 parts over the next 6 Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, we should have
we got one of those.
we should have the Michael Jordan
We
of
got
wrestling,
someone
but
who's
better,
huge.
dude.
He's the Undertaker.
Honestly,
But did any of y'all watch any wrestling besides Money in the Bank? I know we got to start wrapping this up here soon. So
I watched a little bit. I tried to catch Dynamite from last week, but I still haven't gotten
oh man,
through it yet. I've been savoring it. I'm excited to watch that.
It's
street
one of the
fight
best
'cause I know
segments
how
they've
good
put
it is.
on.
I've heard how good it is. Yeah, I've been a little busy this week, just around the house, just getting stuff organized and that kind of thing. So I haven't really watched much, but I'm gonna watch the R-Truth 24. I'm gonna watch the Undertaker doc. I'm gonna watch some
What
Dynamite.
about you, Landon?
I'm gonna watch some good stuff this week.
the the only wrestling, well, I should say the only wrestling related thing I've watched, because the main thing, I'll be straight up honest with you guys, really the only thing I've watched this week when I've had free time is Batman the
sweet.
Animated Series and Batman Beyond.
Yes.
But in the spirit of wrestling, I bought, for the second time in my life, I bought the complete DVD
man.
collection of Hogan Knows Best from VH1, and I started watching that, and it's so, like, if you guys ever watched, like, the Osbournes, like, back in the day, it's like that. It's so good. Like, don't watch Total Divas, don't watch Total Bellas, just watch Hogan Knows Best, and it's and like the best thing is it's like it's
Especially when
Hogan
Knobs
keeping
shows up.
kayfabe the majority of the
So
time,
good.
and so it's like, yeah, there's like anytime Hogan talks about like having an injury, he's like, it's, my knee's bad from whenever I lifted Andre and shattered every bone in my body because Andre was about 1,300 pounds at that time, about 9 feet tall. And then it's like the next episode, like he'll like tweak his back working out, and he's like, Andre was about 2,500 pounds and about 11 feet tall.
It's so
right
great.
then. And
Dude, I gotta
it's
watch
just
the
like
show.
I love
I
it,
just-
and I need more of
My
it.
favorite
But
memory
unfortunately,
of that
there's not.
show is like Knobs would just randomly show up, and he'd be like, "Hey, Hulk, you want to watch like WrestleMania 7? You want to go in here and watch WrestleMania?"
Yeah. there's several episodes like where his daughter will like bring a boyfriend over, and to like intimidate him, like Hulk will like put on like an old WrestleMania and be like, it'll be like a picture of him like gorilla pressing someone over his head, and he's like, "You see that? I'll do that to you." And it's like,
Right.
of course, like that's what Hulk Hogan would say to his
100%.
daughter's boyfriend.
Do they call him Hulk or do they call him Terry in the show?
I was about to say, I think it's a mixture of both.
back and forth. Yeah, and it's like it's cool because it's like, I mean, if you've looked at any of Hulk Hogan's social media since he's gotten it, it's a lot like that. Like he's like it's just like that. He's always in kayfabe, but he's always relaxed, and like he'll always say something like. His son Nick will be talking about he's got like a really hard test in school. He's like, man, I mean, trust me, I know what hard times are. I was on the road over 300 days a year. Like I'd fly to Japan back and forth in one day, and because of like the time zone difference, like I'd be working 8 days a week. And his son's like, you're right, Dad.
Yeah.
I just got to get back to studying.
What does Hulk Hogan's son do now?
I know he has
historically
a garage
he's been a
now,
DJ.
too.
Okay.
He's
his son, and I love him on the show. But his son gives off a little bit of Jeff
I made
Lowe
the
vibe.
mistake of following him on Twitter or on Instagram. I mean, and he is still doing DJs. He has always had an obsession with like foreign sports cars, and he has like a shop, and he's dating a porn star. So that's about it. Yeah, he's
Jeff
kind
Lowe.
of a scumbag.
Disgusting. What is Brooke doing now?
She's still a musician.
Yeah.
She releases and records music. I don't know if she does any live shows at all.
I mean,
and she's a model.
And then
right.
Him and Linda are divorced, correct?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I will say that's the saddest thing about watching all this is like knowing what all has happened after this and like how the family was just obliterated.
That show was kind of the
everyone
beginning
seems
of
happy
that
now, except
downward
Linda.
spiral
That's okay.
in Hulk's life. Like right after that, I think it ended because Nick killed a guy in a car wreck.
There was a really bad car wreck, and it's referenced on the episode. It was a lot darker in real life, a lot of legal problems after that, and it's just like it's one of those things like as regular people it's kind of hard for us to comprehend just like the absolute power and the resources that come with that level of like a celebrity status. And it's like how did like when you have it's not a matter of like like I have the desire to like not make smart decisions. It's like no, I have a greater way of getting or like I have a greater chance of getting away with it. So whether that's like celebrities like getting behind the wheel when they're intoxicated or just like making stupid like marital decisions and stuff. It's like, unfortunately, that's what like thrive like as American entertainment consumers thrives us. Like we don't tune in to watch reality shows because we want to see everyone doing good. Like we tune in because we want to see the car mangled and on fire that is their lives and make us feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, that was a weird time in celebrity. Like cuz everybody had a show like that, it seemed like that was the popular thing.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, like if you were a celebrity in the 80s or 90s,
oh, dude, I loved the Osbournes.
Show. And some of them weren't bad. A lot of them are. Dude, Osbournes was great. What was the
Danny
guy?
Bonaducci, yeah.
Danny Bonaduce or whatever, like just like in insane life. Jimmy, I'm just saying, like, if our boy Wayne got a reality show, I'd watch it. It'd be terrifying, but I would watch it.
I can neither say yes or no to how I feel about that.
If it's anything like the documentary,
Well,
I can
I only
imagine.
watched Money in the Bank and AEW this week. I didn't really have time for much else. Usually pay-per-view weekends are like that because usually Sunday is when I watch some wrestling. But dude, AEW, that was the best AEW I've seen yet, and definitely, it's definitely the best
I'm
one
excited
that
to
was
watch
in
it.
with no crowd, like during the COVID area. What were you gonna say, Landon?
And I was just gonna say, there's just some of the merchandise that is already rolled
Oh,
out
dude,
because of like
there's
the big
so
match
many
on the card.
memes.
Just the memes alone.
Incredible. Like the fact Jericho, like the clip where Jericho puts the
Right.
traffic cone on his head and starts like laughing like
He
the Wicked Witch of the West. Like, and now
he
he's a
used the
T-shirt of that
traffic
where he just
cone
says like,
as a
he, I'm
weapon,
gonna
and they
get you, my
sold it.
pretties.
Like, it should be the goofiest thing ever, but they treat it with complete seriousness that like it gets over whenever you're watching it. And then of course, go ahead.
Well, it's like, I was just gonna say, it reminds me in Mankind's book, Have a Nice Day. He talks about like him and Owen Hart having matches where like they had a bag of popcorn, like one of those big clear bags you get from the concession stands, and like Owen hitting him with the
Right.
dreaded bag of
Or
popcorn and selling it like he just gotten hit with a chair. And that's one of those things with comedy wrestling, when it's done right, like that stuff works where it's like, oh, like
right.
you just hit him with the traffic cone. You just hit him with the bag of popcorn. Like you just like slapped him in the
Right.
face with like
Well, and then like
a pie during
when
the food fight.
PWG sold gummy bears like they were thumbtacks, like, or the Lego spot, like it's great. Like when you do stuff like that, it works. But Matt Hardy is still doing the best work he's ever done. I'm so glad that he's not with WWE anymore because he's on a different level. And especially during that match, because like he uses his powers to change character 3 times. And like at one point he's got like the
cannot
Hardy
wait to
Boys
watch
garb
it.
with like the really tight compression shirt and like the black pants, but he started out in
Yes.
like this weird like cloak type deal, but it was like cut off sleeves, and it was just the weirdest thing. And it's something that, broken Matt Hardy would wear. And then he ends up in his, regular broken gear. And of course everyone's seen the golf cart spot. Like, that's classic Matt Hardy. Like it's the cart of golf or whatever he wants to call it. So I
Gentlemen, I hate to jump in here. We don't normally report like breaking news or anything, but it's being reported right now that Sting is no longer under contract with the WWE. So, and
Interesting.
the first, now there were some rumors about this earlier this week, because the Major Wrestling Figure podcast and one of the guys who works with Mattel and WWE to create their action figures just out of the blue announced, hey, we have this upcoming line of figures that Sting was supposed to be in. Due to circumstances outside of our control, Sting is no longer part of that line. Pre-orders are up right now. And it's like, okay, that's
Right.
normally they don't pull a figure like that unless it's a contract issue.
Interesting.
And just to add like fuel to the fire, like the Major Wrestling Figure podcast posted like a picture of that where it's that Sting figure with a big red X through it. And Cody just retweets and replies with it the gif of him like putting his hand to the ear and the camera like zooms in super close. And it's like, I'm just saying, I loved Sting. Like, it feels right having Sting in WWE just because it's the one place he never went. Unfortunately, he got hurt due to the Seth Rollins match. If you think about it, Sting technically only had 3 matches in WWE, one being a tag match on Raw, the one with Triple H, and then the one with Seth Rollins. And it's like
Right.
Sting always being like that non-WWE guy. Like, I don't know if he wrestles in
I don't know if-
AEW.
Can he physically wrestle without dying?
Nope. In 2020, I don't know anymore.
guess,
With seeing
yeah.
guys like Daniel Bryan and Edge return. But it makes you think, like, also, like, do we see Sting,
I'd be all on board.
does Sting come in and start a stable? I think even, this is just me, like, if Sting became, like,
Yeah.
the on-air, like,
You could have him even come out without his
GM?
face paint and the,
I'd be
and
cool
the
with that.
sunglasses.
And the sunglasses, yeah, just have him come in. That's what I liked about Smoky Mountain and Teddy Long, is you, like, as cool as, like, the heel baby, or the heel manager authority position is, like, having a good, solid, like, babyface authority is so underrated, because you have the guy who's, like, he's going to call the heels out, but then it's like, he's going to be like, hey, like, I think, like, this is our first show. Like,
Right.
imagine the first episode of Dynamite with, like, a real crowd, like, full arena. He comes out as the GM. He's like, you know what? This is a special night. We're gonna make it big. So every title's on the line tonight. And just like that pop, instead of like, we're gonna come out here and we're gonna make the baby face wrestle 100 matches for no reason. It's just like, it's so overplayed. And it takes away, like, whether they're still booking behind the scenes or not, like, I don't like the Elite having, like, any on-camera
Keep
like
them far away from that.
presence as, like, authority or booking. Like, even, like, it was the first time, like, they did a pay-per-view and they gave, like, their touching, like, pre-show speech. Like, cool, it is what it is, but it's like, I don't want to know, like, that they're the ones booking. Like, I don't want Paul Heyman to come out on Raw talking for Brock Lesnar and be like, by the way, I'm writing the show, and just so you know, I'm going to make this match happen this way. It's like, I don't need to know that. I don't want to know that.
With Brandy Rhodes, is they take every opportunity that they have to make sure that you know she's an executive. So, I mean, that's, I'm over it.
Mm-hmm. It's
right.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you're the executive, why are you on TV? Like, shouldn't you be running? Yeah. It doesn't fit well. It makes everything far too complicated. Like, everything gets really, like, all meaning gets diluted easily, because it's like, hey, like, I'm trying to have this really meaningful feud, but hey, I also have to get involved in this storyline because I'm one of the executives,
crazy,
and then I have to get involved in this storyline because I'm an executive.
I would love to see him as the mouthpiece for somebody. I mean, then that's where AEW is putting all the legend guys, like, you know, Arn is Cody, and, you know, Tully is with Sean Spears and all that. It's just, it could work. It would be great. And they'd be used.
What if you have, and maybe this is a bad idea, but what if you have, like, you have obviously the Exalted One, right? You have Brody Lee in that spot. But what if you have Sting as the person who Brody Lee, like, learned everything from, and, like, you barely see him, but he's there. And Brody Lee is giving all the orders, but really, dare I say,
he's Master Sting.
controlling the Snoke. You know,
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, just give me one little vignette where Brody Lee has his robe on,
Or
and you
or you
just see
see
like a little
Brody walking
hologram of
down like
Sting
a
with his
hallway,
sunglasses
and he's
on.
nervous. He's nervous about something. And he opens the door, and at the end of a long table, Sting just puts his
Yeah.
head forward, and you just see the makeup, and then end of promo. Like, then you know there's Master Sting out there.
dude, it just
Right.
there's
It's
so many ways
incredible,
to be able
man.
to use these people.
As we're wrapping up, this makes me like I love that we're getting this at the end of this episode
Right.
because it makes me think like what'll come to light next week. Like,
I do want to.
will we have answers about this? Will we still
I
be
do
in the
want to
dark?
say one final
It
thing
makes me
before we
excited.
wrap up.
I'm
I
really
saw
excited. Go ahead.
that Matt Cardona and Brian Myers did some trademarking this week. They filed some trademarks, and they did so using AEW's personal lawyer. So take that with what you will. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm just saying, I think out of the releases, we're going to see a lot better use
Oh,
of some
dude.
of those guys. Like, if you haven't, this goes for everyone. If you haven't seen the stuff EC3 is doing on social media, like, EC3 is going to murder somebody
He's like
the next time he
teasing
steps in the
being
ring. Like,
third
he's
member
going to
of the
cut their face
Revolt
off and wear it.
right now.
And I'm so excited. It's insane, and I'd be okay with that. Let EC3 be like the mouthpiece. Let him be the great physique of the Revolt, and let the Revolt be the henchman. That I'm just saying the way things are going. If EC3
I was
and the
just thinking the
Revolt
same thing.
were to go to AEW, Jimmy, I think we're looking at another
They do that to Cody.
Four Horsemen Dusty Road snuff
I'm,
film.
I'm
Is
I'm
that
way
too
into
is that too far doing it
Way
to Cody?
into that.
Like
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't think it's far enough. Like, I think like I'm just saying like you have the Revolt like holding Cody down, and then like EC3 like obliterates Dustin or like does something to Brandy. It just makes me excited. Like, I'm excited.
right.
The unknown is always exciting because is there the potential for it to suck? Yeah, but there's also the
Oh, yeah.
potential for it to be really good.
I really
So,
feel
I'm
as if
excited.
Double or Nothing's going to tell us a lot about the future of AEW.
And
And
The-
Orange Cassidy.
I mean, they announced the casino
that could be
ladder
really fun.
match, and we've got Darby Allin and Colt Cabana in the match so
and
far,
Orange-
and Orange
Well,
Cassidy.
We're doing like our longest episode right now.
Yeah,
Like this is
I'm
crazy.
real interested to see how this pay-per-view is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, so
Yeah,
Let's
we
go
are.
ahead,
we just clocked
let's
two,
go on to
or
the,
we just
the
clocked
finish.
an hour
Let's,
48.
Let's take her home, Jimmy.
Let's wrap this sucker up.
Let's do that. I just want to say this: we're at an hour 48. This would be the time the first match on Raw would be ending, which would probably be the street. It would probably. I'm just saying. This would be about the time that the Street
That's beautiful,
Profits
man.
and the Andrade, Austin Theory,
Oh,
Angel
my
Garza
gosh.
stuff would be wrapping up right about now.
Oh, so good.
But yeah,
So
Jimmy?
I, as always, have another podcast called Date Bit, the number 8-bit, which Jake here designed the logo for, and Landon edits, and our friend Santiago composed the music, and we are putting up an episode. As you hear this, it'll be out.
Hey.
With an interview with Kaylee's brother, who is a huge video game fan and plays Smash Brothers competitively and does really well in the state of Oklahoma doing that. And then
There you go.
actually, right when we finish this recording, I'm hopping on another recording, and we're going. We're doing an episode of Date Bit tonight, so it's like I'm gonna have to drink some olive oil or something because
Water and salt,
yeah,
my friend.
voice is
Water
starting
and
to
salt.
go. But yeah, so check out the Date Bit podcast, and yeah, Landon.
I've got all I've got is if you want to make your podcast dreams come true, feel free to reach out to me on social media at Landon Bumgarner or my very public email landonbumgarner@gmail.com. Because there's a lot of podcasting going on in the year 2020, specifically in quarantine, and it's a lot easier to happen. So if you want the podcast to happen because you feel like you have something to say, or you're just looking for an outlet to express yourself, feel free to hit me up.
I have something else. I want to give a shout out to
Rapungi.
Landon Gardner for his concert
Rapungi.
he did in his home here, where he performed for the ACM, which is the Academy of Contemporary Music. Their student organization had Landon hop on a little Zoom or a Facebook
Rapungi.
Live and perform. And he did, yes, as Jake said, he performed one of my favorite songs by Terry Funk, Rapungi by Terry Funk, which he did a great rendition of, and his own original called Brother Me Softly, which I gotta say, the wife and I were singing along and swaying our arms back and forth.
I was sitting on my back
We were
porch
we were
with my
feeling it,
lighter
man.
in the
You did a
air.
great job.
Just
And so
going
everyone
back
should go
and
check that out.
forth.
That's on our Facebook group.
Amanda
too,
was
I think.
looking at me like I was crazy. It was great. I'm thinking we need an actual recorded version of that for the theme song, bro.
Hey,
Like,
if you're gonna brother me,
Amen.
pretty
please
good.
just brother me
pretty,
softly.
Pretty good. Ooh. Oh,
Hey,
taking it long, huh?
who knows? There might be a little surprise at the end
Uh-oh.
of this episode.
Uh-oh.
Just gonna give me a shrug
for
there.
you guys. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, for me, plugs this week. Listen
We'll
to best
see.
movie
Hey,
ever. Listen to our
We
archive
got to
over
give
there.
people a reason to tune in next
Go ahead
week.
and follow us on Twitter at BKFabe, the letter B Kayfabe. And then we have an Instagram that is Brothers in Kayfabe, at Brothers in Kayfabe. Join the Facebook group and talk to us over there. It's a lot of fun going on over there. I'm toying around making a TikTok account for us. I don't know. Where we could just post clips of the show and, I feel like we could, maybe there's a whole subculture of wrestling TikTok that we haven't gotten, but, see, there we go. If we could get R-Truth to listen to the podcast, then we're set.
I'm just saying.
So
R-Truth
maybe I'll
is a
just
TikTok.
attack
That's all I need to
R-Truth
know.
on TikTok with our clips, tagging him and everything. I don't know how TikTok works. That might be it. But follow me at Real Jake Keel on Twitter and Instagram. Give us an email at brothersandkayfabe@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, we'd love to know what you're watching. We'd love to know what suggestions you might
us
even
up,
have,
ask us
and
some
hear
questions.
your questions. So I think that's it for us, guys. Oh, I was gonna say, like Jimmy mentioned, if you have some artwork to be done, some graphic design, if you're starting a podcast with Landon Bumgarner and need a good logo for the podcast, hit me up on Facebook. I'm doing a lot of graphic design work here during this quarantine thing, and I think that's it for us today, guys. So let's get some Too Sweets up in here. Too sweet. 4 life.
All right.
See you guys.
Too sweet for life.